Okay class, so today under the heading of animal fibers, we are going to know about silk. So as you can see in the slide, silk fibers are also animal fibers. Silkworms spin the silk fibers. The rearing of silkworm for obtaining silk is called sericulture. Okay. So before we discuss about the process of obtaining silk, it is very necessary to know the interesting life history of the silk moth. So students, now we will know that what is the life history of silk moth. As you can see in the slide, the heading is given the life history of silk moth. So it starts like the female silk moth lay eggs from which hatch larvae which are called caterpillar or silkworm. They grow in size, and when the caterpillar is ready to enter the next stage of its life history called pupa, it first weaves a net to hold itself. Then it swings its head from side to side in the form of the figure of 8. Now, during these movements of head, the caterpillar secretes fiber made of protein, which hardens on exposure to air and becomes silk fiber. Soon the caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fibers. This covering is known as cocoon. The further development of the moth continues inside the cocoon. Silk fibers are used for weaving silk clothes. The silk yarn or the thread is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth. There is a variety of silk moth which look very different from one another, and the silk yarn they yield is different in texture. For example, the quality of coarse, then smoothness of it, then shininess of the fiber, etc. Thus, Tassar silk, Muga silk, Kosa silk, etc. are obtained from cocoons spun by different type of moths. The most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth. The silk fiber from the cocoon of this moth is soft, lustrous, and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful color. Lustrous means class shiny. Okay. So the sericulture or the culture of silkworm is a very old occupation in India. India produces plenty of silk on a commercial scale. Now class, we will know step by step that how this conversion of cocoon to silk happens. So as you can see in the slide, for obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. So the first heading is rearing silkworms. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. The eggs are stored carefully on strips of cloth or paper and sold to silkworm farmers. The farmers keep eggs under hygienic condition and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. Hygienic means class clean and neat conditions. Okay. So the eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larva to hatch from eggs. This is done when mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of leaves. The larvae, called caterpillars or silkworms, eat day and night and increase enormously in size. Enormously means class larger in size, bigger in size. Okay. So the worms are kept in clean bamboo trays along with freshly chopped mulberry leaves. After 15 to 30 days, the caterpillars stop eating and move to a tiny chamber of bamboo in a tray to spin cocoons. Small racks or twigs may be provided in the trays to which cocoons get attached, and the caterpillar or the silkworm spins the cocoon inside, which develop the silk moth. Now class, coming to the next heading, that is the processing silk. So a pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fibers. Pile means a lot of or like a layer like thing. Okay. The cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. The process of taking out threads from cocoon for use of silk is called reeling the silk. Reeling is done in special machines which unwind the threads or fibers of silk from the cocoon. Silk fibers are then spun into silk threads which are woven into silk clothes by the weavers. So class, this was all about sericulture, silk, and how we obtain the silk fiber, and then how we make the fabric from that fiber. Okay, so I hope that all of you have understood it well, class. That's all for today's class. Thank you, class.